Hello and welcome to Backlinking, the PKM podcast. Today's podcast episode, for those of you who listen on Spotify, is a little late because I've been sick and things have just gotten busy after I've been sick, and starting to get things going again has taken a lot longer than I first expected. But um, I'm back with a podcast episode. That is the point. And in today's podcast episode, we are discussing, or I am discussing, something that I've seen in a lot of newer productivity applications. And I've seen this trend for a while now. And in some ways, it makes sense. In other ways, it do not. And the thing I'm talking about is applications trying to add way too many features, like to the point where the application gets bloated. And just let me clarify what I mean. I'm not talking about an application that is a to-do list application adding a little bit of notes, or adding note-taking, or a note-taking app adding to-do list functionality. That's not what I am talking about. I am talking about applications that are really new. Like, we're talking small teams, let's say 5 to 10 people, and in many cases even smaller, trying to be a project manager, a to-do list application, a chat app, and have feeds, and just adding everything you can come over, like note-taking, to-do list, project management, images, and being visual, and trying to have mind maps, and trying to have chat abilities inside of the application. Like, everything you can think of, applications are trying to add. AI stuff, that is also something a lot of applications now have. And uh, a lot of these applications, it's not that I don't like an all-in-one application, or that I don't like the idea of an application that can do it all, but in most cases, uh, they can't. First of all, like, it is really hard to do everything. And the second thing is just that applications just keep on getting bloated and really slow and not fun to use at all. And I've seen more and more applications end up like that. It feels like they're just adding one more feature and one more feature and just one more, and they keep on going like that. And the reason for why I have started to think a little bit more about this is because I've spent more time in newer applications, and in their communities on Slack or Discord or wherever that is. And I've seen that there is a lot of people that want more features, me included. And I think it is important for a founder of a productivity application, or a CEO of a productivity application. I honestly think their most important job is just to say no to features. Because if you say yes to everything, first of all, you end up not solving anything because you're trying to solve everything. That's the first issue. The second issue is just that I haven't seen anyone to this point being able to do it all. Maybe Notion, but Notion has also been around for it's soon to be 10 years, I think. So it has had a lot of time to develop all of these features. It, like, Notion was great at first, but a lot of the features has come like the last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, especially around the pandemic. We got a lot of people moving to Notion, and Notion getting a lot more features. And Notion also acquired a lot of the stuff they have right now. Like, when you're a small application and just starting out, you can't do it all, even though a lot of applications try. And you end up, by the time your application is out there, you end up having an application that is just so bloated that it is unusable. So you kind of have to start somewhere. And I'm not blaming all of these people trying to start applications. I am actually really happy that they dare to do it, and that we get a lot of new stuff in the productivity community. So that makes me really happy. But having an unclear vision combined with adding a lot of features often kills an application. And I think like the main point of using an application, or the most important feature, is that it is well built, it is stable, and it works well, and it is fast. Like if I have to wait uh 5 to 10 seconds to load my page or my application or whatever I'm looking at, it will start to get annoying, especially when it is a productivity application that I am really reliant on, like a second brain. So that has been one issue I've had with productivity applications lately, that they try to do too much at the same time. I'm not even talking about doing too much in general, but doing too much at the same time when they are starting out. And that is simply because, as I said, in these communities, there are people that need just one more feature and one more and one more, and it keeps going like that until you get to a point where the whole application needs to be rebuilt. And that isn't like it isn't just a new thing. It happened with ClickUp as well. Like ClickUp added so many features to the point where the application was just so buggy that they had to rebuild it into what we know as ClickUp 3.0. So it has happened before. It isn't something that is uh, happening just now. It has this issue has been around for a while, but I feel like I see it a lot more in the newer applications. Like two applications that I think do this really well, saying no, is Reflect Notes. They haven't added a lot of features outside of their core functionality, and the same goes for My Mind. And in a lot of cases, especially as I said, in small teams, it is much better to have or to be working on enhancing the features I already have instead of jumping to new features all the time. And I'm, of course, not talking about applications in a really early stage like alpha or beta phase. That's not what I'm talking about. At that point, like you're still trying to figure it out. So that is not the applications I am talking about, because you haven't actually fully built the application, and you might test out a feature that does not work and you're not fully out yet, so you can go back and you can start over. So I'm not talking about those applications, even though it is something to keep in mind that if an application, even at an early stage, just keeps on adding every feature that is suggested, you can bet on the application ending up being too bloated at some point. And I think it is important to talk about this because we as consumers need to be aware of it. Like we move our notes and our whole life into these applications. And even though I would like probably every feature under the sun, I know that there are a few I cannot live without. Like I need good project management in my note-taking application, simply because I do a lot of social media stuff and social media ideas like these podcast episodes or YouTube videos or TikTok videos, and I don't want to pay for a separate project management tool. So that is one thing I personally need. Apart from that, there isn't like any major features I would need in an application. There are a lot of good to have features, like AI organization is one. But I don't need every feature under the sun. And if an application has almost every feature, or if they're trying to build almost every feature, I will probably not use that application because it will quickly end up getting slow, and it will also have a huge learning curve to it. And that is also something people often neglect with applications that have a lot of features. If an application has every feature, there is more to learn. It's just that simple, and I feel like a lot of the best note-taking and productivity applications out there, like Reflect and MyMind, which I am really big fan of, both of them actually. They are not the most complex applications out there. They are really plug and play. I can install the application, pay for it, and just start using it, and it is that simple. While with a lot of other applications, and I'm not talking about things like Obsidian here or Logsec, because I feel like those are a little different, but I have a couple of other examples, even not Notion, but a lot of the newer ones. As usual, try not to mention any names when I'm talking negatively about applications in general, but I will probably do separate video reviews on these applications I am thinking of. But basically, a lot of these applications, they try to add too many features to the point where the applications almost becomes unusable, and they just have to start over. Um, just like ClickUp did. I think ClickUp is probably the best example, and I am mentioning them because they actually fixed it, and I really like the new ClickUp, the new ClickUp in general. But my point here, and I'm trying to start to end this podcast episode, we will continue to have a couple more of these shorter podcast episodes. But my point here is that there are two major issues with trying to add every feature that everyone wants or that someone wants, like getting one message in your community and adding that feature. There is a problem with that, or there is two actually. One is the learning curve. Like if the application is going to have Kanban boards and is also going to have great task management and is also going to have great note management and great image management as well. You come to a point where the learning curve is just too steep for me to sit down and learn everything about this application. The second thing is that often these applications just get bloated. It is too many features, it is too slow instead of my productivity or note-taking app. And I feel like it is more often note-taking apps, because note-taking apps are turning more into all-in-one applications. And do not misunderstand me. I completely understand why this is happening. It is because of subscriptions. It is because it is easier to just have everything in one place. So I get that. But I haven't seen it be pulled off really well, maybe except from Obsidian. But even Obsidian, if you have a huge vault and a lot of plugins, can become a problem, especially on the phone, because Obsidian again is a little different because the application in itself is really stripped down and easy and plug and play. But you can go into the plugin ecosystem and you can add every plugin to get everything you want, and there is good things about that and bad things. One of the bad things is that if you add a lot of them and if you add a lot of them and you have a huge vault, then things can become a little slow. So Obsidian is a little different because Obsidian is Obsidian, but apart from Obsidian, I haven't seen it be done really well. Even Notion can get really slow at times, and like things like Notion and Obsidian can get away with being slow. A newer application cannot. Like if I'm starting to use an application for the first or second time and it is already slow because there is too much happening, I probably will not pay for that application. So there is a lot of thoughts here. I haven't, as you might have heard, I have a couple of notes or bullet points I'm talking based off, but I haven't landed this discussion in my head yet. Whether or not I think it's really good or really bad, or uh, I think it's bad, but it can also be good. Like, I haven't figured this out yet, and how much should an application at a really early stage add a lot of features? It is really hard, and I understand that it is really hard for these people trying to make applications. My general idea is that I would like a lot of applications to have fewer features and more integrations and possibilities with integrations. Just as an example, instead of adding AI, allow me to plug in my own AI with an MCP server, just an example. So there are a bunch of things like that. That I would like to see instead of having new features, but it is really hard to conclude with what's right or wrong in this discussion. But I would love to hear your thoughts. So if you have any, please do comment it down below. I think that sums up like this podcast episode, which feels like it has been a little bit of everywhere. And that is simply because on this topic, my mind is a little bit of everywhere. Like, I'm not completely sure what I think about this yet. I just know that a lot of applications get too bloated. Uh, and I've done a lot of research and I've tried to figure it out, but I can't seem to land on anything in this discussion yet. So again, I would love to hear your thoughts. I think that covers it. Thank you so much for watching or listening to today's podcast episode.